So in this video, we're going to be going over one of Angular's key features, and that's modules. So modules essentially allow us to separate our logic to keep our code looking clean. Modules also allow us to give multiple pieces of our program to different people when we're working on a big program, right? So if we have a giant program and we have 10 people, we want to be able to piece that program out for those 10 people to be working on without a bunch of conflicting changes going on in one file. So that's where modules come in, right? They allow us to separate our code so that people can be working on all parts of our program at once. So let's see how we actually create some modules. First off, I want to go to our Angular tutorial app that we created, and I'm going to go to our app.js. And you'll notice that we've actually already created a module, and that is tutorial apps. That is our whole program. Essentially, our whole program is a module. And that's exactly how we create our module, angular.module. Then we say what we want our module's name to be as the first parameter, and then our brackets are any dependencies that our module has. So right now we have no dependencies. We don't need any other modules for this main program module to work. So let's create a new module. I'm going to go over to this tutorial control. You guys don't have this yet, but I just added a folder named controls, and then another JavaScript file named tutorial control. I'm going to click on that. And you'll notice I already have an Angular module created. I'll just retype that just to show you exactly how it's done. So angular.module, this is how we create our module. And then we have a quotation mark, and we punch in our name. So I'm going to say this module's name is tutorial control. Now, this is where my dependencies come in. Do I have any dependencies for this module? Well, as of right now, I don't. I don't need any dependencies. I'm going to save that out. And now I'm going to show you how we might add components to this. One way we could add components is we could add a variable and we could say, cut control. And this will, when we create our module, it'll send back our module into our tutorial control variable. And then we could then add components doing it this way. Tutorial control, and I could create a controller. I know we haven't learned about controllers yet, but I can create a controller, so on and so forth. I could do, tutorial control, and then I can, add a service, so on and so forth. And now whenever I include this tutorial control module in another one, all these things would be included, whatever logic I'd have in there. Well, it turns out this isn't the best way to do this. We don't want to actually, when we're creating new modules, aside from our app module, we don't want to do it with a variable. We just want to chain. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to get rid of that variable, get rid of semicolon, and then we're just going to say dot, and then whatever we want to add to it. So in this case, we'll say maybe a controller, right? Because of our name, we're probably going to add a controller. And then maybe we add a service. So we just chain it, right? And whenever we're done, add a semicolon, so on and so forth. Great. So we have our tutorial control. We have our logic if we've added it in here. So how does our Angular app actually have access to it? Because this is out on its own right now. Well, as you probably guessed, we're going to go back to our app and we're going to inject it, right? We're going to inject this dependency into our app. We're going to say, hey, app, you are dependent on tutorial control to actually work. So now, when we go back into our view, our index view, if we were to have something that depended on this controller, we could actually use it. If we didn't inject this dependency in our app, we wouldn't be able to. So this goes for any other modules. The way we would use them is we inject them into our main app. So what we've just covered essentially is how we make modules, how we inject them into our main app to use them, and some dependency injection as well. I also want to say that the general rule is to split our modules by functionality, not by type. So I actually did it the wrong way. I created a module just for the type, which was a controller. You mostly want to create your modules for some functionality, right? So if, a calculator, a portion of a calculator, a view of the calculator, so on and so forth. So that's modules in a nutshell. I hope I cleared some things up for you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.